Playing from Andy's iPhone 16.
Prepare to get gassed because it's time for the Week in Gear. Hello, I'm Andy, and this is the show where I bring you the most exciting guitar gear released over the last 7 days. And this week is guitar only week. No amps, no pedals, no plugins, just strings and wood. Yeah. This week, Fender release 5 Telecasters, Harley Benton release 3 Telecasters, and Charvel release 2 Telecasters. That is 10 Telecasters in 1 week. How will we cope? Don't worry, Ibanez and Gretsch are here to cleanse your palate. This episode is sponsored by Thomann's Spring Sale. More about that in a bit. But first, thank you to all the new people who joined the channel via YouTube membership or over on the Patreon. You will see some new names up on screen and hear some in the shout out at the end of this episode today. So if you want to join them and help me reach my goal of making this show solely audience supported, there are links in the video description. If you don't and you just want to watch the show, that's also fine. Thank you. Now, let's kick off this week's gear list with the diamond anniversary of the guitar that basically started it all. 2026 officially marks the 75th anniversary of the Fender Telecaster. And to celebrate, Fender have dropped a substantial 5 guitar anniversary collection. First, for the modern player, they have the high-spec American Ultra 2 in a genuinely stunning liquid gold finish. I dig that so much. Next is the iconoclastic TV Jones loaded American Professional Classic Carbonita. That's available in a blue metallic and, get ready for it, a candy apple red. If you want something flashy, but mostly affordable, they also have the mid-priced Player 2 Telecaster in a pretty crazy diamond dust sparkle. Diamond dust, diamond anniversary, all makes sense. And for the premium traditionalists, there is the American Professional 2 Custom Telecaster, featuring a double band body and a flamed maple top in 2-color sunburst. Goodness gracious me. This custom Telecaster gives me serious gas. It is so classy that it makes me feel like I'm not worthy of its existence. Sorry for existing. But out of the entire drop, the absolute standout for me is possibly the most boring choice, but definitely the most interesting. The one that takes us right back to the beginning. This is the Fender 75th Anniversary Vintera Road-Worn 1951 Telecaster. And I have one right here. I'll get it. Now, this, if you're a vintage purist, this is exactly what you want to see. Fender built this to replicate the look, the feel, and the raw sound of the original Blackguard. It starts with a highly resonant swamp ash body. And that is, completely finished in a classic and tastefully aged butterscotch blonde road-worn nitrocellulose lacquer. For me, this is a Telecaster, and for many other people, I'm sure. It's got all this sort of subtle checking and the light dings, nothing extreme. In fact, it hasn't got many dings. I noticed some on the top of the headstock, but maybe I did that. But yeah, if you would expect something that's been gigging for years and decades and half a century, 3/4 of a century, sorry, but it's also been looked after, this is what it might look like. And I've seen some in the flesh, and I've seen one that looks a lot like this. Attached to that is a maple neck, and it is super chunky. It is so substantial. It is a 1951 U-shaped profile with very thick shoulders for that authentic early 50s grip. And I could sit with it forever until I get hungry, which is in about 25 minutes time. Anyway, they've topped that all with a vintage accurate 7¼ inch radius. Yep, and that's maple and maple with a skunk stripe. And these are 21 vintage tall frets. I'm talking about it a lot because I dig this guitar a lot. It is well, it's really good. Fender loaded it with a pair of pure vintage 51 single coil Tele pickups, and it's anchored by a classic 3 brass saddle vintage style thing with all barrel goodness and 3-way switch and volume and tone. I put this guitar up against my custom shop and my Squier Affinity in a video this week with some surprising results, he says, hoping that you'll click it later. I will add it to the end screen of this video. The thing about this guitar is it does sound fantastic. It feels fantastic, but it's not quite there. It needs to be improved a little bit. And I think this is generally with Fenders at the moment. They almost hit the mark, and I just wish they'd spend, I don't know, for their experts, another 10 minutes per guitar, just making sure, because this one was a little bit sticky on the back and had some wood hairs sticking out, and it needed intonating. The action was great, but it simply wasn't intonated. And yeah, it should come better than that out of the box. I will stop talking about this Telecaster now. I do like it a lot. And anyway, that's the case with the one I received. If you've got one of these and it's perfect out of the box, please let us know in the comments section. Thank you. The basic thing is, this is so good, I don't think you need to have a custom shop Tele anymore. The Vintera Fenders are absolutely phenomenal if you put a tiny bit of work in. Next to this, my custom shop sounds and feels like a gift to myself, which is fine, but not the best financial decision. But since when have we worried about financial decisions on this show? That's going to stay there for the rest of the time. Don't jump on it. The Vintera Road Worn 1951 Telecaster comes with a vintage style tweed case. It's right over there behind the camera. And it lands at around 1800 notes, which is a little more than I would like, but this is one heck of a Tele. The other guitars are also a little bit above what they would have been last year. And I'll put links in the video description to a whole Fender thing so you can find out what they cost in your region. You're welcome. But if you want sort of the original look one, but don't want to buy something vintage and still have about $2 grand to throw on a guitar, this is a good bet. The gasometer is firmly buy it now. Now let's stick with the Telecaster theme for a minute, but shift gears completely when it comes to the price tag. If you love the classic T-style twang, but you really want a vibrato system and you don't want to drill into a 2000 note vintage reissue, Harley Benton just dropped some guitars you might want to take a look at. Harley Benton's TE series is already famous for punching way above its weight class, but for this new release, they took 3 of their most popular T-style platforms and factory fitted them with a massive TS-01 Bigsby-style vibrato system. And it is incredibly rare to find a traditional Telecaster setup with a Bigsby-style tremolo right out of the box at this price point, and that worries me slightly. First up is the TE52 Tremolo NA for natural. It features a heavy-hitting American ash body in a classic high-gloss natural finish, there it is, and it is paired with a caramelized Canadian maple neck with an apparently comfortable C profile. I'm thinking maybe modern there. And it's got a matching fingerboard made of maple, a matching maple fingerboard even. This is, well, it's kind of the Tele, the ultimate 50s workhorse from the Harley Benton range, now with added shimmer, landing at around the 199 notes mark. Hell of a deal. Next is the 60s inspired TE62CC Tremolo. This model swaps the ash for a lightweight basswood or basswood body. We're going with both today. And this features a D neck profile. They're also offering it in this frankly gorgeous custom color, which is the CC. That's a Lake Placid blue with a mint green pickguard. I'm rubbing my hands as I even think about it. And this is a perfect retro aesthetic. It just looks sublime. And this one lands for only around 169 notes. Finally, if you want something a bit more luxurious, they dropped the TE62 DB Tremolo BK. And this takes the basswood or the basswood body, but finishes it in a high, sleek, high gloss finish. It's black, very black. None more black could it be. It is also beautifully offset by some white double binding on the top and on the back. And it swaps the maple fretboard for laurel, which gives it a very classy, understated look for only around 179 notes. Double. This is the part where I ask for something I can't have. I wish we had the blue one with the binding. That's what I would want. Anyway, all three models are loaded with two Roswell Alnico 5 single coil pickups, and on the surface, these look like a killer deal. But there is a big but. These prices are so reasonable that when I first started researching this episode, I was highly suspicious of the level of quality possible. Right, let me get this straight. Harley Benton, the TE Telecaster models, without the tremolos, without the fake Bigsbys, are superb. I bought one a few years ago and it is simply outstanding. It's easily as good as a guitar that is $100 more than what I paid for the Harley Benton. And here comes the big but. Take a look at this Squier Classic Vibe. Now, this custom shop. And how about this blonde Tele that has had a Bigsby retrofitted? Back to me. The Squier and the custom shop both use a Mustang bridge, and the blonde Tele has the Vibramate cutaway Tele plate. Usually, if you fit a Bigsby to a Tele, you have to cut away part of the original bridge plate. But, and that was the big but, the Harley Benton has the strings going through the bridge plate, which creates a point of friction. And this is surely going to result in the trem not returning to its original position, causing the guitar to be out of tune anytime you use the arm, and plenty of string breakage. And if people don't know what's happening, frustrated guitar players. I am extremely disappointed because it does mean that if I'm right, these trem systems are at best decorative, and at worst will result in a guitar that simply won't stay in tune and breaks strings. And at these prices, I was surprised that Harley Benton was going to modify and cut the bridge plate to accommodate the trem system, and even more surprised when I zoomed in on the photo and I found out that they hadn't done that and they'd strung it through the bridge. That was not a good surprise. I decided that the only way to fix this problem in my brain was for me to buy one of these. So, using a stealth account of a friend, I went and bought one, and it's arriving in a few days. So when this gets sent out, I will let you know what the deal is. If I'm wrong and the guitar is phenomenal, I will apologize in the next episode of TWIG. If I'm right, well, let's see. The gasometer rocks up to wallet on fire and then falls back down to add to cart until I've checked this thing myself. I will report back as soon as possible. Now, enough new gear, let's talk about gear that's been discounted. It's springtime finally, which means one thing. Thomann have a sale on, and there's some pretty good stuff. The first thing that grabbed my eye was this AKG Ara microphone, because it's down to €19.90. It's a USB microphone that you can use for your voice, but you could also record guitar with this, and for under €20, that's a really good deal. But if you're only interested in guitars, if you scroll down the main page and click Categories, and then click Guitars and Basses, and click that Products button down there, you'll get just the guitar and bass stuff. You can then even sort it by price, so let's say low to high, to find out what the cheapest thing in the sale is. There is a crunch distortion for €10.90. If you're buying anything at Thomann, just add that on as well, because who doesn't need a €10.90 crunch distortion? Even if it's terrible, it's worth having. The same, $10.90 hot plexi and a classic chorus. And a clip-on tuner. But there's 4 picks in one, I was only supposed to have 5. Genuinely, this is a good pick. The more tone capture GTR allows you to capture the tone of your guitar and then play that tone with another guitar. So if you have the Les Paul on stage but you need the sound of a Strat, you can use this pedal to approximate that tone. That's worth it for €29. Then, what's next? Let's see if we can actually find a guitar. Click Show More. Nope. I found something else you should definitely get. Everyone should own one of the Valtone GP5 pedals, and it's now down to €66. That's a no-brainer purchase. Stop watching this, go and click that and buy it now. That's an excellent deal. I'm not stopping till I find a guitar that I think is worth you buying. What? A Kramer for under 100 euros. I know nothing about this guitar, but it looks pretty and it's 98 euros. Okay, here's a guitar you have to take a look at, and it's another red one, the Harley Benton DC Junior in Faded Cherry. That is a great guitar at its normal price, and it's got 14% off at 188 euros. Get it, simply get it. Now what can I find that's a really good deal? Let's change the sorting category. Here's a good deal, the Cort MBM 2H Manson Meta. That is not going to please everybody, but it does have a Sustainiac in the neck position for the humbucker, and it's a soft V profile with 29% off at 698 euros. That seems like a really good deal. And for the actual best pick of the Thomann spring sale, I'm going to make a quick phone call because it's going to be chosen by Victor, our editor. Hello, Victor.
Hi, Andy.
I want to know, what is your pick of the week for the Thomann spring sale?
I think my pick of the week for the spring sale would be the PRS A50E. I think it's around 33% off right now, and that guitar is seriously bang for your buck.
How do you know?
I have the big brother, the A60E.
All right. And this guitar is 666 euros.
Correct.
How much is that in Danish kroner?
5,099.
No, too expensive. I'll take it in euros, please. Thank you very much. Bye!
Bye!
There's a lot more up for grabs in the spring sale from Thomann, and it runs until April the 8th. There is a very special link in the video description for you. Go click that and find yourself a bargain. Right, on with the show. Welcome back. I hope you found something good in the sale. If you did, let me know in the comments. Let's shift gears again from the budget builds and sales over to something that completely reimagines a classic single cut. That's a bit of an overstatement. It's a new take on a Les Paul. But if you do love the aesthetic of a traditional Les Paul style guitar, but you want, nay, you demand modern high performance specs, Gretsch just dropped an absolute bombshell into their budget to mid-range Electromatic lineup. This is the brand new Gretsch Electromatic Jet. I dig it. Congrats to Gretsch for having done an amazing job of making me want a guitar that looks a little bit like a Les Paul, but not quite like a Les Paul, but not too different to a Les Paul that it looks silly and that it's trying to look like a Les Paul. Also, the release video is insanely good. Let's have a little watch of that. Yeah, that was fun. I want to play guitar in a library now. Gretsch took their classic Jet silhouette and completely hot-rodded it for the modern player. It starts with a chambered mahogany body, which is capped with a solid carved maple top. Or maybe it's not carved. It's a maple top, that's for sure. Have a look at the picture, you do the work. Attached to that is a set mahogany neck, which is a modern performance C profile. Sounds thin to me. But here's where it gets crazy for a Gretsch. They top that with a bound ebony fingerboard, which features a 10 to 14 inch compound radius and glow-in-the-dark Luminlay side dots. This neck must be built for serious speed demons. As for pickups, they designed some new ones. Why not? They are brand new. They're called the Sphera Twin 6 humbuckers, and these are powered by Alnico 6 magnets. Yes, Alnico 6. The control layout is also fully modernized Gretsch, featuring a push-pull on the master volume that engages the new Lumen filter to tighten up your low end for those razor-sharp high-gain riffs that you've been thinking about. It also features locking tuners, locking strap buttons, and a lockdown locking wraparound bridge. It's all locking. This model is coming in 4 different finishes. There's the Onyx Storm, the brilliantly named Robusto Burst, the stunning Vintage Pearl, and Clairvoyant, which is my favorite of the bunch. It's blue, and in the photos that Gretsch have made, my goodness. These are landing at around 600 to 700 notes, and this seems to be, well, becoming the new sort of price point for affordable to bottom of mid-range, where it used to be 400-ish. Sad times. I do not normally gel with Les Paul inspired guitars, but this has got my collar warming up like I've just eaten my favorite burrito with that favorite green mystery sauce. What is it? This guitar in Clairvoyant, and all the other finishes in fact, is an easy add to cart for this gasometer down there. It should be higher, but I would need to play this before buying it. I'd be very happy to find out these are great. I really hope they are. I think, yes, it's time for another Telecaster. Don't you think? I'll go on then. What happens when Charvel hot rod a Telecaster, but keep it rather budget friendly? Charvel has just expanded into this, well, definitely going to be, if it's not already, popular Standard Series. And this is the new Charvel Standard Series 2. The Standard Series is all about delivering high-performance, shred-ready specs at a much more accessible price than their Pro Mod or the USA lines. The new Style 2 is built around a lightweight, solid Niato body, which is contoured for that maximum comfort during those long sets. And attached to that is a bolt-on maple neck featuring Charvel's legendary speed profile and graphite reinforcement rods, so it'll stay straight. They topped it with a fast, potentially fast, depends on you I guess, 12 to 16 inch compound radius Laurel fingerboard and 20 jumbo frets plus another 2 jumbo frets, 22 in total. And note that there seems to be a sort of subtly carved heel too, which is not too much, but it implies that it's built for speed. In the engine room, it is loaded with a pair of Charvel's custom high output humbuckers, specifically voiced to stay incredibly tight and articulate under heavy gain, whilst still cleaning up beautifully. And to keep everything stable whilst you are ripping, it features a Charvel HT6 string-through body, and that's a hardtail bridge, no trem system here, and it's got die-cast locking tuners. It comes in 2 different finishes, which you've seen up there, of course. One is the very sleek satin grey, and a shiny gloss black. I think the sleek satin grey is my favourite, but I also like the gloss black. I'll go with grey, because it's a bit different. If you weren't aware, Charvel is owned by Fender, so this is kind of an official hot-rodded budget Tele, including the licensed Fender Tele headstock, which is super important to some people. And this guitar series follows the trend of companies releasing more affordable versions of their current models. We had Baum guitars from Denmark last week, and I'm sure we're not even into the main flow of what's going to be happening with mid-range / budget offerings from large companies and smaller companies as well. But let's have a little watch of the video, because my friend Jamie absolutely nailed what this guitar is designed for. That was a rip-in, Jamie. Thank you. Thank you for doing what I never could. The best part is that this Charvel Standard Series Style 2 is under 500 notes. So this could very well be someone's very first Charvel, or a sensible choice for something that's probably going to stay in tune, even if you're not going to shred on it. If you do need a stripped down, high performance riff machine that won't ruin your savings account, but you need a name on the headstock that has some provenance, then this looks pretty decent. The gasometer is firmly at buy it now.
Pick of the week.
And finally, we've arrived at my pick of the week. Now, the Ibanez AZ series, and I'll say Z because that's how much I love it, has fundamentally changed the landscape of the modern boutique Superstrat, but production Superstrat, over the last few years. I think it was 2018 it was announced. Every modern Strat now gets compared to an Ibanez AZ, and I'm a massive fan. I have 2. Well, they just released a new Japanese prestige spot model that is visually one of the most stunning things I've seen all year. And yes, I know it's only March, but still. This is the Ibanez AZ2402AR in coarse grain white flat. And in fact, it's so beautiful, it deserves a full screen 5 seconds.
It's so beautiful, it deserves a full screen 5 seconds.
The AR here stands for ash body, A, and rosewood fretboard, R, which is a slight departure from the standard alder and roasted maple AZ formula. But the absolute magic is the finish that Ibanez used, which is a sandblasting technique on the ash body. And that's why they've gone for ash. Wouldn't work so well with alder. This physically etches out the softer parts of the wood, which leaves the harder grain lines incredibly pronounced and in this stark sandy gold color against the white. It reminds me deeply of kintsugi, which is the traditional Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with seams of gold, but in this case applied as a raw, organic texture on a high-performance guitar. And I think it is breathtaking. It's also available in this black color, which I think is kind of hot, but for me the white is where it's at. That is phenomenal. Beyond the aesthetics, it has everything that makes the AZ legendary. The S-Tech wood roasted maple oval C neck, jumbo stainless steel frets with the prestige edge treatment, and lumen lace side dots, which is great for the stage. The engine room features a pair of Seymour Duncan Hyperion humbuckers, which is wired to the Dynamics 10 switching system, giving you, that's right, 10 entirely distinct, highly usable tones. And the dynamic system is what brought me to the AZ series about 8 years ago. Every tone on an AZ has something special to offer. It's not just a funky system. This stuff is all anchored by the Gotoh T1802 2-point tremolo and the Gotoh Magnum Lock tuners. Certainly is equipped well. Now, because this is a limited spot run, prices will vary slightly by region, but I expect it to land in the premium Japanese prestige bracket around 1,999 notes mark. Whatever I've just said, it might be different to what's up there because I will have had time to ask. So go closer to that. If you've heard about how good AZs are and you like one that looks like it could hold its own in an art gallery, the gasometer is permanently stuck at Buy It Now and edging ever so closely to Wallet on Fire. But not quite. A massive thank you to everyone who watches and subscribes and comments, but as always, a special thanks to the Patreon supporters scrolling past my face right now. Hello there. And a huge hello there. And thanks to the YouTube members on screen scrolling past my face now. It is a pleasure to have you as part of the show. I appreciate you. And now, a special shout out to the top tier members. Here we go. Antonio Cruz Barreto, Buddha Blue, Boom Shakalaka, Buzzle, Chris Kelly, Craig's Fist, Darth Bagel, David Meyer, Dirk, Doug Paget, Fuzz Uncle, Yindrik Strelka, Johnny McBadminton, Kultur Pop, Mike CQB241, Mike Lute, Andrew Morgan, Craig Vb, Darius Lives, Gary O'Neill, Josh Tamberg, Kevin Zent, Man Dude Bro, PQ Deads, Sarang Narayan, Sanya Chen, Sarah Marie, and Southern Panda 33. I'm not finished. Twig is inconceivable. Brilliant, good show, man. Thank you, top tier members. Now, don't forget the competition to win a Tuner Fuzz pedal. That's in the video description. And I will see you next episode of The Week in Gear. Bye.